Hey YouTube, it's Axtile here. I'm going to show you another Dark Horse and kind of a budget deck that I just taught on my locals. I've said in some of my other videos that every locals I top at, I'm going to try to show you, and kind of for all the YouTube players who don't want to run just meta decks. So let's get right into it. Empty Jar. This deck is extremely competitive. It topped YCS Atlanta, top 16. That deck was running 3 tour guides. I'm not, mainly because I can't really afford tour guides, and this is still supposed to be a budget deck. But it's still very competitive. I got 7th place on my locals and beat a lot of top decks out there. So we'll just go right into it. First, you got the Morphing Jar, MVP of the deck. Flip effect. Both players discard all the cards in their hands and then draw 5 cards. Pretty much the whole point of the deck is to deck your opponent out by flipping this card face down to face up. Yeah, it's just extremely good card. Second card, Needleworm. This is one of the tour guide substitutes. It's good because if played poorly, you could accidentally deck yourself out with your own Morphing Jar. The Needleworm pretty much makes it so you will never do that. Flip effect, discard 5 cards to the top of your opponent's deck to their graveyard, so also really good. Then we got Sangan. He's just trying to get Morphing Jar out to your hand, self-explanatory. We got 2 Swift Scarecrow, because a lot of times this deck will leave you vulnerable and you don't want to get 1-hit KO'd or 1-turn KO'd or whatever. So you get these 2 to protect you and keep you alive. Then you got 3 Changers, another key component of the deck. You can remove from play this card in your graveyard, just select 1 monster in the field, change its battle position. So pretty much you got this on the field and Morphing Jar face down. You remove this from play, flips Morphing Jar face up. Whole point of AD Changer. And then you kind of got your Book Legion. You got 1 Book of Moon, pretty self-explanatory. You got your 3 Book of Ties. Flip 1 face down monster in the field in a face up attack position. He's pretty much an AD changer in spell card form. And then you got your Book of Eclipses. This is the other thing that will ensure that you don't deck yourself out before your opponent does. Change all face up monsters on the field to face down defense position. During the end phase, flip all face down defense position monsters your opponent controls face up, and your opponent draws 1 card for each. So it's really good because it prevents your Morphing Jar and Needleworms face down, but it also makes sure that your opponents are face up, and then they draw for each. It decks them out a lot faster. Next card, another key component, 2 Feathers of the Phoenix. I would run 3, but my 2 locals doesn't carry them. They don't have anymore. So for now, I'm running a Monster Reincarnation until I get another one. And actually, Monster Reincarnation won me the last duel of that tournament, locals. So that was pretty cool. But Feather of the Phoenix, discard 1 card from your hand, slide 1 card from your graveyard, and return to the top of your deck. It just helps you get the pieces of the combo that you need, or if your Morphing Jar is in your graveyard, you can, or destroyed somehow, you can get that back. Monster Reincarnation, discard 1 card, just select 1 monster in your graveyard and add to your hand. Same thing, get Morphing Jar, Needleworm, or whatever. Next 2 cards, Magical Stone Excavation. It's kind of situational, but discard 2 cards and target 1 spell card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, so you can get back your feathers, your books, your card destruction, whatever. And it can be really good. And then you got card destruction. That card is good just because, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. You got hand destruction. This can each player sends 2 cards from their hand to their graveyard and draws 2 cards. If you draw into an AD changer and a hand destruction, you can hand destruction, put your AD changer to the graveyard. It's just really good for pitching out that, or if you need some of the combos that you don't have, just getting them with that. You have Foolish Burial. This is just to send your AD changer to the graveyard, and pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your back row defense, Heavy Storm and Missile Safe Typhoon. These 2 cards are mainly for Skill Drain. Skill Drain kills this deck. Skill Drain wipes it off the floor because you can't do anything unless you get these 2 cards. And it's also good if you think they have a Solemn or they have a heavy back row, just Heavy Storming it. So, yeah, pretty self-explanatory, really. Then you got the pretty much the draw engine of the deck. We got 3 Pod Dualities. 3 pods just make it overall very consistent. You can get your Morphing Jars first turn, whatever piece of the combo you don't have. You don't ever special summon in the deck at all, so you never run into that. So it's just a really good card. Got your 3 one-day pieces. This makes sure that you can survive, not only survive, but also makes it that you draw 1 card and your opponent draw 1 card, which helps because you want your opponent to deck out, so it helps you there too. Then you got your 3 Upstart Golems. This card just makes your deck a 37 card deck, and you don't really care about the life point effect because you're not trying to get their life points to 0, you're trying to deck them out. So it just helps with consistency. Then we have 3 Gold Sarks. This card also helps with consistency. You can get your Morphing Jars or your Needleworms or pretty much any part of the combo that you don't have very quickly, and it just gets into your hand. And the last 3 cards are Magical Mallet. This card is good because, actually really good, because the deck sometimes runs into inconsistencies or bad hands, or you don't have all the pieces of the combo you need. So you play Magical Mallet, and you get you pitch the combo or pitch your AD changer or whatever, and you get more cards. Some people I've seen run 2. I would never run 2. I'd always run 3 because it has come in so much handy so many times. Alright, so there's some of the ways the deck is mainly played. Morphing Jar. Morphing Jar, you'll set it. You're going to try to Book of Tayu or AD Changer it, so you can flip it face up if AD Changer's in your graveyard or whatever, and then you can Book of Eclipse it, turn it face down again, and then you can Book of Tayu it, flip it face up again, and the whole time you're discarding and drawing. So you're consistently getting cards in your hand that will fuel the combos you need to keep him live. Same thing with Needleworm. If you don't have a Morphing Jar, it's still a viable option. You can do the same thing. You can AD Changer, Book of Tayu it, whatever. Another good thing that people haven't really explained in videos I've seen is that if you have, let's say you have a Morphing Jar set and they don't attack into it, and it's your turn, and so you can just flip it face up for a summon. If you try not to do that, because if you flip summon it and they have a Torrential, a Solemn Warning, anything, it's destroyed and it's gone. But if you AD Changer it, it doesn't count as a flip summon, so it just flips up with AD Changer's effect, and they can't Torrential it, they can't Solemn Warning it, they can't Solemn Regiment, because it's not being summoned, it's just by a flip effect, or by a AD Changer's effect, or by Book of Tayu, or whatever. So yeah, it's a pretty good deck. Again, it runs about $60 to $70 total. If you get the Calming Morphing Jar, it's probably around $60. And it's just really consistent. I got 7 places at my locals. I beat a Dino Rabbit, 1 Insector, 1 anti-meta deck, and even a Skill Drain deck, just because I Heavy Storm run at the right time. So yeah, I plan on uploading a lot of Dark Horse decks and more like decks that are budget but still very competitive, because I want people out there to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Without spending $1,000 on decks. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, give me some suggestions of decks or this deck or anything really that could be helpful. Thanks YouTube, and I'll be uploading another video soon, hopefully.